Here is the scenario then. Meghan Markle has made news once more, but this time it's not because of a podcast or red carpet appearance. It's much messier. The type of royal repercussions that has King Charles allegedly sharpening the figurative axe is what we're discussing. Furthermore, that isn't an exaggeration from a tabloid. Sincerely, the man is thinking about removing Meghan's HR titles, and to be honest, that could be the only option left. When Meghan dabbled in yet another business endeavor, this time in the hotel sector, it all began to boil over. It seems innocent, doesn't it? Here's the twist, though. The corporate presents were purportedly branded with the Duchess of Sussex's HR's approval. Yes, HRH when she and Harry left their royal duties, Queen Elizabeth specifically requested that they not use the title. King Charles is finally realizing that pledge. Dissolve more quickly than hot water and inexpensive jam. The king's former butler, Grant Harold, who has known Charles better than most people would, didn't hold back while speaking. He stated unequivocally that Meghan's small attempt at hospitality was doomed to fail. And not only because she lacks business sense, but also because, in his words, she's as welcoming as a zoo reptile cage. Perhaps harsh, but he's not entirely incorrect. And that's not even the worst aspect, the fact that Meghan may be using her royal status, which she agreed to give up to justify her business endeavors and earn money is what has palace residents furious. The compromise Queen Elizabeth gave Harry and Meghan was based on trust a royal handshake, if you will. But now we have monogrammed jam jars and gift tags with royal seals, such as in Montecito. It's just another Tuesday. That goes beyond simple rudeness. Charles is no longer ignorant to the fact that it is a smack in the face to the institution. He avoided conflict and played the good guy for years. But his persistent breaking of the rules is beginning to come off as weakness. Despite her poisoned grace, his mother made a mistake by letting them retain the title. And today's that choice turned into a public relations catastrophe that is damaging the crown's reputation. Meghan's fixation with the titles is even stranger. She is out there promoting herself through letters, stationery, and even public shout-outs that are laced with HR. She seems to think that her identity is derived from the monogram. How much she speaks about being powerful doesn't matter. Self-sufficient lady, every action shouts the contrary. And then there's Harry Poor, who is clinging hard to an institution that she previously professed to despise. Rather than rising tall on their own 2 feet, people claim that he is unhappy with everything and finds Meghan's use of such titles awkward, particularly after she publicly made fun of the Queen in that Netflix series. However, if that didn't cause a rift, what will he has become a supporting? Roland's own life, watching everything happen like a royal spectator, helpless, silent, and perhaps even a bit ashamed. But this is where things become even more grim. Meghan went beyond jam labels. On Instagram, she shared a letter from a Ukrainian official that called her HRH. That isn't private communication. It's a flex in public. A well-considered action, Charles. Also took note. Everyone did. The silent pact has become a joke, and the monarch may finally be finished being kind. Charles is enraged, not simply irritated. Now, it's not just about 1 or 2 jam jars. It's about the gradual, purposeful eroding of royal borders, all decked up in pastel packaging and well-curated Instagram photos. Meghan's usage of the term isn't the only issue. She is fully aware of what she's scaring out every time HRH, the Duchess of Sussex, signs a card. It's a slap in the face of the agreement that let her leave her royal responsibilities while retaining a portion of the business. For years, the palace has remained silent in the hopes that public pressure or common sense would take care of things for them. However, Meghan is now exerting more pressure, and Grant Harold's warnings weren't issued in a vacuum since he knows. Charles understands the amount of self-control required for the monarch to keep back, and now that the monarchy's reputation is becoming more and more shaky, something has to give. Removing the HR title from her wouldn't be an unusual penalty. Princess Diana also handed up hers, and Charles's own brother Prince Andrew had his torn away in shame. Sarah Ferguson had previously lost it during her divorce from Prince Andrew. Thus, in theory, it's not difficult. Meghan's HR may disappear with a simple letter of patent from the monarch. Parliament is not required. There is no lengthy procedure. Just a royal signature completes the deal, but the symbolism is more significant than the legal procedure. Inference is the foundation of Meghan's whole brand. She does not need to disclose that she is a working royal. All she needs is the recommendation. Here is a title on several monograms. Packaging, there it's modest yet effective. And if the king removes it, she's just Meghan once again. It's just Meghan. Not Meghan the Duchess or Meghan the Royal, and the illusion is destroyed without the title. Meghan will now claim that, in theory, she is not breaching any laws, and she may be correct on paper. According to Meghan's team, the Queen had stated that they may keep the titles as long as they weren't used in formal or business contexts, even though a shared Instagram story or a private letter isn't considered commercial. Anyone with a brain can see what's going on. She is elevating her new endeavors by employing royal branding as a marketing tool and prop. The public isn't foolish either. Whether it's future hotel chains or jam lifestyle material, people are becoming aware of that jam stunt drew a lot of criticism, and it wasn't just from tabloids. The average person is exhausted. Regarding the royal soap opera, they are fed up with a couple who broke away from the monarchy continuing to profit from it, and Charles must answer for that as while he remains mute. He comes seen as weak and afraid to speak out against what everyone else can plainly see. Then there is the Ukrainian vice president's Instagram blunder and repost. Meghan understood precisely what she was doing, since that one wasn't subtle. Rather, it was deliberate, sharing a letter in which he was referred to as Your Royal Highness. That was a shot across the bow, not a mistake. She is indicating that she will utilize the HR system as long as it is in existence, even on paper, and that Charles has options, either put up with the jeering or shut it down for good. According to reports, the palace is considering its alternatives, and experts think Charles is done with the olive branches this time. Maintaining harmony isn't the goal. Preserving the integrity of the crown, because no king can afford to overlook the fact that the monarchy is being merchandised rather than modernized at this rate. Meghan's ambition isn't the main problem. Rather, it's the way she hides it beneath her claim to independence and monarchy. Desiring to create a new legacy, launch a business, or establish a brand is perfectly acceptable. However, when that heritage is using the she left the monarchy, which makes the contradiction too obvious to overlook. It is opportunism disguised as royal lace, not feminism or revolt. King Charles is under increasing strain because of this. This rule is only getting started. This is turning into a strength test. It might be the most obvious time for a king who has long been seen as cautious, even overly diplomatic, to establish his power. Backroom diplomacy is over. Don't wait for the Sussex drama to end. The foundation of the monarchy is tradition, symbolism, and norms. There must be a line drawn when someone mistreats others, especially members of the family. And Charles isn't only shielding the throne from Meghan, everyone else, both inside and outside the royal circle, is receiving a message from him. That's a straightforward message. There are limits to being a king. You are not allowed to use weapons, pretending to be above the throne while using your relationship to it for personal benefit. You cannot create a public persona based on the exact titles you pledged not to use while making emotional pleas for. Seclusion. Meghan may feel personally attacked by losing the HR position, but really, it's just a matter of accountability. It occurs when someone interprets a promise as only a suggestion. The actual hit would occur if Charles even went so far as to eliminate the titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex completely. Parliamentary participation is necessary for such, but it is feasible. And Meghan would only have one official title if that ever occurred. Henry, the Princess nobody would find it ironic that after years of claiming independence, she was now associated with her husband's name. However, titles and names aren't as important as what they stand for. Meghan's podcast, for jam business, and the alleged hotel chain, while her supporters may argue that this is simply clever marketing. It is a clear violation of the agreement she made when she left the UK. None of them have stood on their own. Instead, they have relied on royal legend to acquire traction. This is burning the rules, not just breaking them. In the meantime, Harry keeps fading into the background throughout. His public appearances feel as though he had practiced his interviews. He used to be viewed as the relatable king who could relate to the contemporary society, but nowadays he appears to be a guy torn between remorse and allegiance. He is unable to stop Meghan. He refuses to fight back, and by doing nothing, he has allowed the Sussex brand to diverge completely from royal duty. More than simply Meghan's future will be determined by what Charles does next. It will establish the tone throughout the duration of his rule. Will he uphold the principles that once gave the monarchy its significance? Or will he allow contemporary forces to transform it into a brand? Titles are more than simply ornaments. They carry historical accountability and public confidence, and once those are undermined, they never return. This has nothing to do with retaliation or penalizing Meghan for being challenging or unique. It's about establishing limits. Saying enough is the key. If Charles is serious about defending the monarchy, he has just one option: remove the titles from the performance and remind everyone that royalty isn't something you hire for a press release. You can't act royal when it suits you and reject it when it doesn't. You either adhere to it or completely let it go. Asterisk.